Hi everyone, it's Rachel, and in this video I'll be showing you how to make a super cute bracelet using the materials in this Japanese kit. This kit and many others can be found on the Sophie and Toffee website, so I'll leave those links down below as well as a discount link. So in this kit you receive 2 sheets of clear shrink plastic, a small tube of UV resin, 2 packets of super pretty glitters, a bunch of different findings and rhinestones, and then a sheet of sandpaper. The kit also comes with a set of instructions which includes the templates you'll need to make the star charm bracelet as well as the bonus heart charm. If you are like me and have no idea how to read something in a different language, let alone one with completely different symbols, I find that the Google Translate app is really helpful. All you have to do is take a photo of the text that you want to translate, highlight it on the screen, and then it will translate it for you. Sometimes it doesn't make complete sense, but it does help you get like the main gist of what to do. So firstly, take a sheet of your shrink plastic as well as the sandpaper and sand it so that it becomes frosted. You will be left with some white powder, so just wipe this off when you're done. Now it should look something like this. Next, place it over your template located in the instructions, and you can use some tape to help hold it in place. I then took a regular white pencil and transferred the outline of all the shapes onto the shrink plastic. By the way, this is also my very first time using shrink plastic, so I was also learning as I went too. If you hold the plastic up to the light, you should be able to easily see the outlines you just made. I then took a pair of scissors and cut out all of my shapes. Now it's time to start adding some colour. So I began with the larger star that has the frilly edges, and I coloured all of that part in using a black pencil. I then wanted to experiment and see if I could create a galaxy kind of effect. So for the centre of this star, I took some of my chalk pastels, also called soft pastels, and added some patches of colour all around it. I then used a paintbrush to try and blend all of the colours together. I've also read that the colours on shrink plastic turn out darker after baking, so if your colours don't look as vibrant as you would like, they will darken after they shrink. Next, just take a hole punch to make a hole at the top of the star for the charm later on. I then continued to colour in all the upper pieces using my coloured pencils. So it's now time to go shrink them in the oven, and no matter how many times I translated the instructions, I couldn't seem to find a baking temperature or time, so I just kind of made it up a little bit. I ended up preheating my oven to 150 degrees Celsius, and I placed one charm in at a time on a tray with some baking paper. After about 30 seconds to a minute, the plastic started to bend and change, which I thought was really cool because, like I said, I've never done anything like this before. The plastic kind of curled up at the edges, and then about after probably a minute after that, the piece had flattened back down and shrunk in size. I took it out to let it cool and then went ahead to bake my other pieces as well. So here's what they look like now. As you can see, they are now much smaller, darker in colour, and also thicker too. It's now time to start decorating and doming with the UV resin. I actually used a bottle that I already had open, so I didn't have to open the smaller tube that came with the kit. I squeezed a small amount of resin onto each of the stars and spread it to the edges using a toothpick. I took the packets of glitter and sprinkled on a small pinch. To cure and harden the UV resin, you can use a UV lamp or torch, or you can also place them out in the sun. Once they had hardened, I put on another thin layer of resin and placed on my other shrink plastic pieces, and then some of the rhinestones for details. and then I cured that layer as well. Then once that resin had hardened, it was then time to add the final pieces, so I added a small drop of resin on top of each of the little shrink plastic details, and then used my pair of tweezers to place on the remaining rhinestones, and then put it under the UV light for the last time. Now all that's left to do is to take some pliers, the findings and the shrink plastic charms, and then put everything together to create the bracelet. And that is everything for this tutorial, and here's what my finished charm bracelet looks like. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!